Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich. We begin at noon with breaking news. 4 people have died in the heat wave, and 3 of them involve people living in Multnomah County. Details at this point are limited, but according to Multnomah County, a man died on Friday in the 97230 zip code. That's in Northeast Portland and includes the Wilkes neighborhood. 2 other men died on Sunday. One was in Southeast Portland, 97206. That's the zip code, and that includes the Woodstock and Mount Scott neighborhoods. The other was in the 97216 zip code. That includes the Mall 205 area. There was also a 4th man who died on Saturday. He was brought to a Portland hospital from outside Multnomah County and died. The medical examiner will now look at all these cases to determine the exact cause of death. Let's get right to meteorologist Rod Hill. Rod, terrible hearing about these deaths already, but today we're expecting another triple-digit day, right?
We are. 100 degrees yesterday in Portland, 103 in Salem. It was the first time that Portland has hit 100 degrees this year. We do expect to do so again today. So the excessive heat warning from the National Weather Service absolutely still in effect at this point through tomorrow evening. We are clear. We don't have a whole lot of wind. In fact, light winds at 4. Now, I thought we'd be 92 at noon. We're at 88 degrees. However, still certainly possible that we warm up 15 degrees yet today, which would take us up to the forecast high that I'm leaving in place at 103 degrees. So we'll see. On the weather map from the Weather Service, all the pink tones, Medford, up I-5 into Portland, up into Kelso, Longview, all of the Columbia River Gorge, parts of Central Oregon, parts of Eastern Oregon. That's where temperatures are expected to hit 100 or better. And that's the excessive heat warning from the National Weather Service. There's the end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center down in Oregon City. Nobody has a cloud in the sky. It's just perfectly blue. And here are those noontime temperatures. There are 90s, 90 in Westland, 91 in Hillsboro, 96 in Sherwood. That thermometer probably not sun shielded correctly, I meant to say. Salem is at 93. Again, you folks have been running warmer than Portland so far during this heat wave that actually started back on July 4th. So hour by hour, our weather impact alert in red for the heat. 92 at 1 o'clock, 99 at 3, 100 or better at 4 and 5, and even still at 6 o'clock. So it's going to be quite warm this evening. In fact, this still suggests 100 degrees even at 7 p.m. as the sun is starting down. We'll have more on your 7-day forecast in terms of how much longer. At least 90-degree heat is expected. That's coming up.
Yeah, hopefully it's not that long. Okay, thank you so much, Rod. Right now, search and rescue crews in Independence, southwest of Salem, are looking for a teenager who went missing in the Willamette River. The Polk County Fire District says the teen went missing around 5 o'clock yesterday near Riverview Park, just south of Independence. Riverview Park remains closed this afternoon as crews keep searching that area. We'll keep you updated with more information as we get it. And the extreme heat making things more difficult for fire crews in the area. Fire is, of course, more likely in these types of conditions, but also firefighters are at higher risk of heat exhaustion. That's partly due to the weight of their gear. This is video from a fire yesterday afternoon in Northeast Portland. Lieutenant Damon Simmons says Portland Fire and Rescue tries to rotate crew members more often in this type of heat.
We'll try to bring them out, let them pull off some of those coats, that heavy gear, get cooled down as best we can. We bring in our rehab apparatus. We try to get them in air conditioning if it's available. A lot of times it's not. We just try to shed some of those layers for a short period before they go back to work.
Firefighters say they want people to be extremely mindful of where they get rid of their cigarette butts and other things that could start fires. Portland Street Response had a busy weekend as well, passing out water, cooling towels, spray bottles, electrolytes to people that need them. The Portland Fire Program helps people with mental health issues generally. They say anyone without shelter, access to water, or a place to cool down could be at risk of heat illness, especially people with a pre-existing condition or mental illness.
We're going on calls from the start of the day to the end of the day all day. We have 5 crews out today, and we've been working hard with calls consistently coming in.
Portland Street Response is also encouraging people to check in on others who've been in the sun for a long time. To Salem now, where local nonprofits are stepping up during this heat wave as well. KGW's Ashley Grams followed along as outreach workers in the state capitol brought resources to people living on the street.
Imagine we have about 5 cases of 40.
Water bottles, Gatorade, and ice. All essential as temperatures near 100 degrees in Salem, Oregon.
We hand it out and everything as fast as possible.
Robert and Maggie work for Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action. They're loading up for a full day of outreach at a homeless camp of around 300 people inside Wallace Marine Park. Typically they do outreach from this car, but in special situations, the city of Salem offers up this ATV, which makes it easier to get to those hard-to-reach places where folks are camping. Once the group is in motion, making their way through the trees, it's not long before Maggie's voice rings out.
Good morning! Guess what? Water!
People find their way onto the path.
1,
Looking forward to a cold drink.
2.
But that's not all Maggie offers.
Mom, you mom.
She often leaves them with sunscreen and a smile.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Then the team is on the road again, looking for another camp.
Water! Gatorade!
For someone else who might be thirsty or overheating.
When we woke up an hour ago, it was so hot in there I couldn't stand it. Sweat was just pouring off me, just laying there.
Mike lives here inside a tent. He says it's a fight to stay cool, and the water they do have doesn't last long.
One drink of water is one of those bottles. It's just gulp, it's gone.
Nancy uses some of the water she gets for her cats.
I cool them down, put water on their belly and stuff like that, make sure they get cooled down.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
For Maggie, this kind of work is more than just passing out Gatorade.
Here's my call, my purpose.
She's making connections and sharing resources that she hopes will help people transition into safer, more stable lives.
I cannot save everybody, but at least I can give love to everybody.
Ashley Grams, KGW News.
Meantime, Multnomah County has opened 3 cooling centers for the 4th day in a row. Take a look at your screen. They're at Cook Plaza in Gresham, the Portland Covenant Church in Northeast Portland, and Congregation Beth Israel in Northwest Portland. The cooling centers will be open until 10 p.m. There are also cooling centers open in other parts of our area today. To see where they're at, all you have to do is text the word HEAT to that number on your screen, 503-226-5088, and we'll text you back with a link to the online version of this story with all that information on local cooling centers, fountains, and splash pads. If you need a ride to a cooling center, TriMet says it will not turn anyone away. But heads up, there are some delays because of heat and mechanical issues. TriMet says expect delays today on the MAX blue, green, and red lines because of a track issue near the Hollywood Transit Center. Shuttle buses will run between Northeast 7th and the Gateway Transit Center. MAX trains are also running slower than usual, no faster than 35 miles per hour because of the heat. Let's get to some of your other local headlines this afternoon. Vancouver detectives say a man stabbed a woman to death last night before stabbing himself. They say it happened around 8 o'clock on 160th Avenue, just off Mill Plain Boulevard. Officers gave the man first aid when they got there before he was taken to the hospital. Police have not identified the man yet or the woman they say he killed. We're still waiting for an update on his condition. And 4 shootings from Friday to Sunday morning left 3 people dead and 2 others hurt. KGW's Blair Best has the details.
From Old Town to Northeast Portland and the Central East Side. Gunshots hit several Portland neighborhoods this weekend, killing 3 people in just over 24 hours.
You gotta be careful out here. At any minute, something could go down.
The first of 4 shootings happened Friday, just before midnight off Northwest 3rd Avenue and Everett Street, in the heart of Old Town.
And there's police blocking off this Cape everywhere, like this whole area, everywhere, all the way down there.
Police say a man was shot and later died in the hospital after doctors tried for hours to save him. The suspect has not been found.
It bothers me.
4 hours later in North Portland, a 16-year-old boy was shot and injured while sitting in a car off North Newman Avenue. Police say his injuries are non-life-threatening. Saturday, just before midnight, this was the scene off Northeast 82nd Avenue and Beach Street. Police say they found a man who was shot and killed in a motel parking lot. No arrests have been made. And early Sunday, around 1 a.m., police say dozens of shots were fired, killing a man in Portland's Central East Side, off Southeast 9th Avenue and Ankeny Street. A 17-year-old boy was also injured. Police say numerous parked cars were hit, and it appears it was a drive-by shooting, targeting a group on the sidewalk. No arrests were made in that case either.
It's really sad, and I'm sad to hear that happened on our street. It's terrible. Guns freak me out.
This violent weekend brings Portland's homicide count up to 37 so far this year, compared to 46 this time last year, according to a KGW analysis. And this comes as Portland police are about 2 months into their new plan on preventing summer shootings. Here's Chief Bob Day making that announcement back in May.
We're committed this summer to continue our emphasis around life safety.
Blair Best, KGW News.
Starting today, the city of Portland plans to be more aggressive when it comes to handing out parking tickets. 22 new parking officers will focus on expired tags, missing plates, wrong-way parking, and vehicles that block visibility at intersections. They also plan to start booting cars that have more than $500 in outstanding tickets associated with them. PBOT says it lost millions of dollars during the pandemic because of what it called a relaxed approach to parking enforcement.